So I'm here in Calgary in Italy. It's somewhere I've never been before. Funnily enough, recently I've been traveling quite a lot. So I was in Milan, Italy about 10 days ago. I was in Spain. I was in Copenhagen. So been on the move, but nice place, having a pretty decent experience so far. I'm actually here for a Krav Maga training camp. So we're here to work hard. It's all about staying focused, getting the job done. But I wanted to record this video to talk about how to actually get rich, how to actually get wealthy while you're working a 9 to 5 or a quote unquote regular job. Because the reality is pretty much for almost all of my life, I've worked in a role. I've worked for a company. I've worked as a business partner to a CEO, for example. And as much as I've had experience with being an entrepreneur, I mainly classify myself as an intrapreneur, someone who's able to go into a business, drive significant impact, ramp up the amount of revenue that a company's driving, and then by virtue of that, I get rewarded. But what I've found is that there's ways that you can build a lot of wealth and really take your life to the next level by actually having a role. And I see a lot online, a lot of talk about being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, and that being the only way to actually be able to become wealthy. But that's not necessarily true. What it really comes down to is the decisions that you make when it comes to your money and your thought process and your overall mindset as it relates to money. So the first thing is you've got to have a mental mission and a goal and a desire to be wealthy, right? You need to have a healthy relationship with the concept of earning money, with the concept of wanting to be wealthy. Don't fall into this trap of feeling like, no, you need to be humble, or you don't need to necessarily have a positive relationship with wanting to attain a lot of wealth. No, have the desire to be wealthy, have the intentionality that you need to build wealth. It's a part of your mission. It's a part of what you need to do, because it's that very intentionality that will allow you to take the necessary steps to actually go out there and begin to build significant wealth. So by having that, first of all, the mindset around it, the second thing is you need is a target, right? You need a target for how much you actually want to earn. What do you want your net worth to be? Why do you want it to be that number? What are some of the lifestyle goals that you have? What are the things that you want to unlock? Start to think about all of these things, because if you don't have a goal or a target, it makes it very, very difficult to actually go out there and achieve something, because you're not aiming towards anything, right? It's like a ship going out to water, but being directionless, not knowing where it's going, right? So you've got to actually have a direction of travel, right? So that's the next thing. The third thing is then you need to set a plan around how you're going to go about actually executing on this, right? But what I'm going to talk about before we talk about the plan, let me walk you through the most effective way to actually turn active income into an income that is going to grow while you're sleeping or while you're doing anything. So the way I personally go about doing it primarily is through tech stocks. Now, to be specific, and I'm going to assume someone watching this knows nothing about the market, so I'll try and simplify it. But imagine I'm working in a job now. I'm earning active income, right? And when I say active income, I'm just talking about the salary that you're getting from your job. So I'm going to make up some numbers right now. Say, for example, I'm earning £5,000 or $5,000 per month in my active income from my job. Again, I'm making these numbers up. Now, from that 5,000, of course, I'm going to need some to live on, and then I'm going to have some that's left over. So let's say each month I have $2,000 left over that I could put anywhere. I could invest it, I could spend it, I could spunk it, I could do whatever I wanted to do. So now, with that $2,000, what I would do, and what I have been doing for a long time now, is I'm investing that money into tech companies, right? Again, I'm not saying the specific companies that I'm invested in. I'm just giving you some examples right now. But you could think of a company such as Amazon. You could think of a company such as Uber. You could think of a company such as Salesforce, right? And you're literally going onto a investing platform. There's many out there. All you need to do is go on Google and type stock investing platform. And then you are putting that money as an allocation into that tech company. So what you're in essence doing is you're taking an educated bet that that company is going to grow and is going to have a sustainable future. And through that, you will be able to also benefit from that company's success while you're actually doing nothing. All you've actually done is put money into that company, and then that company is going to continue to grow. And as they grow, you will accumulate wealth as a byproduct. So each stock costs a certain amount of money. So again, if we were to make up a number and say you wanted to invest in Uber, and at the time Uber's stock costs $100 for one share. I know it's less than that. Again, we're making the numbers up, but let's say it was $100. So if you've got your $2,000 that you can invest, you would have been able to buy 20 shares, right, into Uber. Now, once you've done that, if those shares through Uber, through their performance and through them doing well, if those shares then go up to, let's say, $200 each, instead of $100 each, which is the price that you bought it at, you've doubled your money. And you've doubled your money by actually doing nothing. All you've had to do is sit there. And the fact that you took the quote unquote risk or made the decision to invest, you then get to benefit from the upside of that company. Now, the reason this is so powerful is because, again, you're having to do nothing to actually be able to reap the rewards of that growth. All you've had to do is invest, and then that company has a CEO, it's got a full sales team, it's got a full development team, an HR team, finance, ops. All of these different departments are in essence working on your behalf, because each bit of work that they're doing directly contributes to your ability to be able to earn more money and to be able to grow your stock portfolio. And so in my position, what I do is I take the time to research various tech companies. And then I look at their current performance. I look at their historical performance. I look at my belief in the market and where they're actually going. Is this a company that's going to innovate? Is it an industry and a market that's innovating and going to be around for the future? I'm looking at all of these various different bits of information. And AI has made this infinitely easier because you can run searches to help you to do the research on these companies. And then, in essence, you're going to invest your capital into the success of those businesses using a tech stock, into a stock platform, basically an investing platform, right? And it's really that simple. Now, all you really need is some of these stocks to really pop off for you to be able to make outsized returns. And so the more you go about doing your research, the more you go about doing your learning and your education, you can create significant wealth by making smart decisions with these investments, and then they're ultimately earning money while you sleep or while you're just sitting there literally doing nothing. And so you can multiply your money through what we call compounding, right? Compound interest, again, without needing to actively do anything. Now, the number one thing that I would say is very important with this is being able to play for the long term. There's a lot of people who go about investing and they're expecting quick money, quick returns, and they're hoping they can put a bit of money in and then a week or a month later they're going to be rich. If you've got that mindset, I definitely recommend that you avoid this strategy. And just to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I do personally to be able to multiply my wealth, multiply my capital, and it's worked out well for me, but I'm not a financial advisor. So please do seek out professional advice before you make any decisions related to how you're going to go about investing your money. But you've got to, in my view, or I certainly have a long-term view and a long-term horizon. And I've typically found that by having a long-term view, it very rarely doesn't work out, right? Because what you find is that the market goes through cycles like this. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. When it's down, I just view that the stocks are on sale, right? It's like going to a shop and everything is on sale at that time. You have the opportunity to buy in essence, at a discounted rate. And then as the market pops back up, you get to benefit from that upside. So we've had a lot of economic turbulence recently, and I've been like, great, because I've been able to buy various different stocks in essence on sale, or certainly that's the mindset that I've had towards it. And then over the coming years, as the market recovers and it goes up and it grows, things will get better. You only have to go and look at the stock prices of companies such as Meta or Amazon or Salesforce. Go and look at what the stock prices were 5 or 10 years ago versus now. You'll see that anyone who bought into those companies 5 or 10 years ago, in some cases have multiplied their money by 10, 20, 30 times because they got in early, and those companies over a long time horizon have grown significantly. And so the investors have then benefited from that. When you've only got a short-term view, it is very, very difficult, right? You're going to be living a life and have a mindset that's super volatile. Things are up one minute, they're down another minute. It's not great for mental health either. When you have that longer term time horizon, you can sit and wait, let the portfolio do what it needs to do, and then you're in a situation where you can win over time. So that's been the primary way that I've gone about being able to turn working in a, let's say, more traditional 9 to 5, or working for companies, or being an entrepreneur. That's been the way I've been able to turn that into a way to create sustainable wealth and a way to be able to win over the long term. So I definitely recommend you do your own research and look into that. There's, of course, multiple other investing opportunities. So I've got some friends that, for example, are big on real estate. I've got some friends that do very well with Airbnb investing, and they purchase homes and then they let them out for short-term rental. Even doing like a longer term real estate play can work really well. I've got a friend who just bought many single home properties, and then he earns what he deems to be passive income through those homes, because he's got property managers that look after them, and then each month he just collects that rent, and that works really well for him. I'm not a big fan of property and real estate, mainly because I'm big on lifestyle design. I don't like the having to deal with properties. I used to own properties, HMOs, they're called, houses of multiple occupancy. So I used to let out or rent out the individual rooms and collect rent. It was very lucrative. It was good financially, but I didn't like it from a lifestyle design standpoint. I didn't like having to, even though I had property managers, just deal with the nuisance of things breaking, issues with tenants. I just didn't like that. It's not that I don't touch real estate at all, but it is something that, to me, I'd always keep a much smaller position in. But the point I'm making here through this video is that you need to turn your active income into sources that are working while you sleep. So whether that's property, whether that's stock investing, whether that's any form of investing, right? You need to get smart about how can you actually turn the money that you make from your role, and not just have lifestyle creep and just spend. Get to a place where you take your income and you put it into appreciating assets that are going to win over the long term. If you can do this and be patient over 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the time horizon is to fit your individual goals, then you will always win. And that brings me on to the point I was talking about in terms of making a plan. Ultimately, success is different to everyone, right? Your own financial goals and what you want to either retire or to live the life that you want is unique and individual to you. So you need to have a think about actually how much capital do you want to have over what time horizon to allow you to live the type of life that you want to live. Now, I know I've got a certain number in my head, and I know that once I can get to that number as liquid capital, the interest rate that I'll get each year on that liquid capital will allow me to live my life where, in essence, I could be semi-retired or just live life completely on my own terms. So that number for me is going to be different from what it is going to be for you. So have a think about, what does that number look like? How much income would you want to be able to earn off of your assets each year to then set up the type of lifestyle that you need? And then once you've done that, write this all out as an actual plan. And once you've got it written out as a plan, it makes it really easy for you to look at, well, what is my income? What's the number I want to get to? How much money can I put into assets each and every month? And then you could simply go on Google and type in compound interest calculator, and you'll be able to put in how much you can invest in each month, the average rate of return that you're expecting each month based on the assets that you're invested in, and it will let you know what your net worth will be over a certain period of time. So there's ways that you can just use these calculators and figure out what your actual financial position is going to be over a certain period of time once you've gone through that. So these are some of the key ways that I think about being able to multiply your wealth, whether you're an employee, working 9 to 5, whatever you're doing, and you can start small. Remember, this isn't about how much you're earning right now. You can start this no matter what you're earning, no matter where you're working. You can start this process and begin to capitalize and multiply, and then put yourself in a position where you win over the long term. So I hope this has been helpful. If you got any questions about it, I'll leave a link to my Instagram profile and any other social media links in the description box below. Don't hesitate to reach out if you got any questions or if I can help with anything. Outside of that, I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you on the next one.